Okay, so the nice thing about working in HTML and CSS is you don't need a program really to do it, per se, or any special program. There's lots of quote-unquote visual editors, but ultimately they all write code, which means I can write it in Notepad or text edit on a Mac or WordPad or on my cell phone. It doesn't matter. If I can write text, I can write HTML. And so I'm working at the moment in TextEdit. There's a couple things if you're using the Mac version of TextEdit that you want to check in your preferences. First off, I would like this to always be plain text. Okay? I would like all the options turned off. I don't want smart quotes, smart dashes. I don't want it to fix my spelling as I go. And I always want it to wrap to a page. And so that's and under open and save. Opening files, I always want to go ahead and let it be, yeah, that's fine, automatic, save and type. Boy, that's old. Okay, that's all good. Okay. So, we're in just a plain text editor. And let's see if I can get if you see anything dealing with fonts or paragraphs, it's not plain text, it's rich text, which will mess you all up. So make sure that you're in plain text. Okay, so let's make a web page. Okay, what that does right there, and let me go ahead and see if I can make my text big enough to see.
Thank you.
Really supersized text for this little window. What that says is I am going to begin writing HTML. That is a HTML tag. When you see the little greater than, less than, greater than signs, that's a tag. And at some point down here, I'm going to quit writing HTML.
Okay.
When the browser retrieves this file, it's going to read this and say, oops, anything between here and here is to be interpreted as HTML. Okay? Every page has two parts. It has a head section and it has a body section. And you'll often see me go ahead and write the opening and closing tags and then fill in. So everything up here is considered the head section, which means it's information about the document, not the stuff that's displayed in the browser window. Anything that's going to be displayed in the browser window needs to be in the body section. Okay? The one thing that we usually have, not usually, we always have in the head section is a title tag, Web 1.01. And then we're all done writing the title, so we close it. And we'll come down here and we'll say, wow. Now I'm going to file. I want to save. It's going to ask me where to save it and how to save it. I'm going to call this web1.html. You can save it as .htm or .html. Either one will work, but learn to be consistent. Most of the visual editors we're using use .html, so that's why I'm using that. Usually I'm lazy, and so I usually, in my own stuff, use HTML. But and I want to make sure it's Unicode UTF-8. That's perfect. But at changing that file extension from TXT to HTML is all it really is. It's a text file, and we want to make it an HTML file. So if I go to my browser and go File, new window, File, Open, Open File, there is Web 1, open, and it says, wow.
Okay.
And up here it says, in the tab, it says Web 1.01, which was what we put in the title tag.
So the title will be what's
This is
on
the yep. This is the title. This is the body. And if we go in here and view our source, yes, it's exactly what we thought we typed.
Oh, wow.
Okay?
Yep.
That's how difficult it is to make a web page. Now, while I'm here, before we start going a little bit further into it, let me this downside of this, it's not going to let the page get any bigger. So if we're using the giant text, it's going to do that. The title, how we title our web pages, is probably the single most important thing when it comes to search engine optimization. And the algorithms that determine where you show up in Google and other search engines, the title always carries a lot of weight. And so as you get going and as you get moved forward, how you title your pages becomes important. Every page should be unique. It should reference what's on the page, and it should bring, we should think about what people are searching for when they search for it. Now, there's some other things we'll do as the course goes on, but I did want to bring up that aspect. We don't just leave untitled page, which is what Dreamweaver will put when we're working in Dreamweaver, or page 1, because that's not going to show up worth a hoot in the search engines. Put some time and thought into how we title these. Okay?